Hello, Commanders fans. Today we have some hot news that you can't miss. So get ready because there's a lot of important information coming. Before we start, we'd like to take the opportunity to subscribe to the channel, activate the bell, and stay up to date with all the news about our Washington Commanders. Don't forget to leave a like, which really strengthens our community and helps bring this content to the most passionate fans of the team. Now, without further ado, let's get straight to today's news. 5 players who could reunite with Kliff Kingsbury on the Commanders in 2025. Kliff Kingsbury will remain with the Washington Commanders in 2025. Taking advantage of the offensive coordinator's presence while it's possible is essential. Kingsbury has made a significant impact. He has transformed the offense into a well-balanced and efficient operation. The play caller helped nurture rookie quarterback Jayden Daniels en route to a first professional season for the ages. His reputation was firmly restored after being fired as the head coach of the Arizona Cardinals. That inevitably came with interest in the head coach. The Jacksonville Jaguars, New Orleans Saints, and Las Vegas Raiders all made interview requests. Kingsbury was in no rush, opting to focus on the Commanders' playoff push. That lasted longer than expected, and nearly all of the vacancies were filled. All but one. The Saints were reportedly willing to make Kingsbury their next head coach. That was made clear to the coordinator, but he declined the chance to stay in Washington. Kingsbury will be a head coach soon. He is learning a lot from Dan Quinn and has found his love for coaching again. Giving him another year maintains continuity and allows the Commanders to put contingency plans in place. It could also give the coordinator a chance to reconnect with some familiar faces in Washington. With that in mind, here are 5 players who could reunite with Kingsbury on the Commanders in 2025. Players who could reunite with Kliff Kingsbury on the Commanders in 2025. Washington's Commanders could be eyeing Dortch to bolster their offense. The Washington Commanders could consider signing wide receiver Dortch to add more depth and insight to their receiving core. The player's name could gain traction, especially given his connection to Kliff Kingsbury, the Commanders' current offensive coordinator. Kingsbury was responsible for giving Dortch a shot with the Arizona Cardinals prior to the 2021 season. While the receiver may not be ideally sized for the position, he makes up for it with agility, explosiveness, and the ability to create dynamic plays with the ball in his hands. Those traits could make him an interesting target for Washington if he becomes available in free agency. Despite never having posted impressive stats throughout his career, Dortch has proven to be a reliable player when used strategically. His best NFL season came in 2022 under Kingsbury, before the coach was fired in the final season of that season. That familiarity with the offensive scheme could be a determining factor in a potential matchup between the two in Washington. The Commanders' offseason focus is on providing as many specific weapons as possible for new quarterback Jayden Daniels. Fans are dreaming of big signings, and the team will certainly evaluate high-impact options on the market. However, Kingsbury may see Dortch as a versatile player who would not only contribute to the offense, but could also add value to the punt returner's time. It's worth noting that Dortch is a restricted free agent, which means the Arizona Cardinals have the right to match any offer made for him. Additionally, the team could opt to tender the player a deal to keep him under contract. Should the Cardinals decide not to match any potential offers, Dortch would become an affordable and creative option for the Commanders. However, the team's final decision may depend on the team's overall strategy to maximize Jayden Daniels' potential within his rookie contract. If Washington opts to take a more aggressive approach, pursuing higher-impact players, Dortch's arrival may become less likely. But if the team is looking for complementary pieces for the offense and return game, wide receiver could fit well into the new coaching staff's plan. Commanders could sign Kelvin Beachum. If the Washington Commanders want to keep pace with the Philadelphia Eagles and perhaps even dethrone the defending Super Bowl champions in 2025, they must bolster their trenches on both sides of the football. There is no other option. The Commanders' offensive line needs improvement. They have been cohesive enough to suffice for now, but that won't be enough to consistently compete with the NFL's elite. Something that won't go unnoticed by General Manager Adam Peters during his roster evaluations this offseason. Finding upgrades at both offensive tackle positions should be considered. Brandon Coleman has performed well overall at blindside, but there is already speculation linking him to a move to the interior. Andrew Wiley is reliable enough, but vulnerable to more explosive edge rushers. He is also a potential salary cap casualty, given the economics involved. Kelvin Beachum is a pending free agent who knows Kliff Kingsbury well from their time together in Arizona. This is nothing more than a short-term option considering he's 35, but the Commanders are in win-now mode. And there's a strong case to be made that he's an upgrade from Wiley at right tackle. Beachum is still an exceptional pass protector. He's lost a step with age, but he's a decent short-term option if the Commanders decide a change is needed. Commanders could sign Marquise Brown. If the Commanders want to be a little bolder with their wide receiver acquisitions, which is entirely plausible under the circumstances, then picking up the Kliff Kingsbury option on Marquise, Hollywood Brown is a possibility. The duo worked together on the Arizona Cardinals in 2022 before Kingsbury was fired. There are some serious injury red flags to consider, but there's no doubting Brown's credentials when fit and firing. Brown endured another tough campaign on the health front after joining the Kansas City Chiefs. He played in just 2 regular season games and gained 50 receiving yards on 5 catches during the postseason. That was hugely disappointing, but it could mean someone gets a bargain in free agency. If Brown has a full offseason to reach peak fitness without any further issues, he would be an asset to almost any team. The Commanders would be taking a big risk, but the rewards will be substantial if he finally puts together a solid run of games. There are better options available. At the same time, the Commanders found success taking risks like this during Adam Peters' first offseason. Brown's previous connection to Kingsbury should ensure that complications are kept to a minimum from a transition standpoint in this scenario. Commanders could sign Hernandez. Losing Sam Cosmi to a torn ACL was devastating news for the Washington Commanders. The right guard went down during their divisional round success at the Detroit Lions and was sorely missed in the NFC Championship game. Anyone expecting him back anytime soon is out of luck. Looking at the typical ACL recovery timeline, the Commanders may not have Cosmi's services in 2025. There's a chance the former second-round pick out of the Texans could return sooner, but general manager Adam Peters can't leave anything to chance. They need to find another right guard. The Commanders need someone who can fit into the lineup right away. If they have familiarity with the scheme, that's a bonus. Hernandez fits the bill and is a longtime associate of Kliff Kingsbury from their time with the Cardinals. The interior linebacker was playing at a high level in 2024 before a knee injury ended his campaign early. However, he is on track to make a full recovery. Hernandez is among the league's most talented pass-protecting guards. His aggressiveness makes him a force on the run, and knowing Kingsbury's demands will also help. If he's willing to accept a short-term deal and everything looks good medically, the Commanders should pull the trigger. Commanders could trade for Christian Kirk. Christian Kirk would be a controversial acquisition for the Commanders, but nothing should be off the table at this point. The wide receiver played under Kliff Kingsbury with the Cardinals. Kirk was so good that the Jacksonville Jaguars came calling with a megabucks offer in free agency that was too good to refuse. After a strong first season in Jacksonville, where he surpassed 1,000 receiving yards, Kirk's influence has waned. Injuries haven't helped, and a change in coordinators hasn't helped either. However, there are risks associated with going down this route. Kirk fits Kingsbury's scheme and would be a nice complementary piece alongside Terry McLaurin. He's a playmaker and a threat in the red zone. He can get open quickly and provide his quarterback with good throwing routes. His pass production when healthy speaks for itself. Giving up draft compensation and taking on Kirk's salary in the final year of his deal for an unreliable option on the health front may not be in Washington's thinking. But then again, there's no way to tell for sure right now. Kirk was reportedly on the trade block before the deadline, but he got hurt just as momentum for a move was building. The Commanders may be willing to flip a late-round pick to the Jaguars in the hopes that he can flourish under Kingsbury's guidance once again.